Hello, welcome to cEDH Brews. I'm Tim, and tonight I'm joined by my friend Mormonator. Say hi, Mormonator.
Hello, hello.
So tonight we were decided to do a couple Ask a Spike Q&A questions. So Mormonator, where can people find you on the interwebs generally?
Well, let's see. You can find me on Twitter at @the_Mormonator. But I spend most of the time on the MTG Marketplace, which is I'm about to call it a small Discord. It's a large Discord for buying and selling trading Magic cards.
I was going to say, isn't it about 3,000 people now?
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, it was small a year ago when we got started. Now it's really big.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's almost usurping like a lot of the Facebook groups now.
I don't know about that. Some of the Facebook groups are huge.
Some of them are, but I mean, I've seen, like, some of them I've definitely seen a lot of the traction come over. But, so, if you're in the market to get some cards and you need a place to get those cards, link in the description below. I will put the invite to the Discord down there.
I will buy your cards myself. That's all I'm there for, is just to buy people's cards.
So, but do we ever actually pick a deck? Do we play decks for fun? Josh, would you like to start?
Sure. The simple answer is yes. We do pick our decks based on the fun that we have piloting them and using them. Spoke about this a little earlier, but I feel like if you are not having fun playing cEDH, then maybe cEDH isn't the best place for you. Like, you should be enjoying what you are doing here, and you shouldn't ever feel forced into playing a deck or an archetype that you actually don't have fun piloting.
Right. Yeah. I can definitely agree with that. I mean, like me, for example, I tend to stick into pretty much a certain wheelhouse of decks. I mean, I do tend to kind of bounce a little bit, but for the most part, I generally tend to play more mid-range lists versus like Turbo Nas or Stacks. Even when I play Turbo Nas lists, they generally tend to get teched into be a more mid-range. Like, for example, my Kess list, it tends to run some board wipes in it still, like from the ye old olden days, and isn't quite so focused on Turbo Nas. I don't know. What's your personal preference?
Well, for someone like me, I don't know if you know about my goal. My goal is to have a cEDH list of every color combination that is available. And to actually keep up with that list, like to keep it updated and to be a decent pilot at whatever I'm picking. And so when I'm looking at all the options and I have to pick out one of every single color, there is no such thing as picking a list that I don't want to play, because I have this entire table in front of me of choices. And yes, for certain color combinations, my choices are a little bit more slim, but I will never pick up a list unless I actually have fun playing.
Right.
I mean,
I love Godo. Just love it. And it's good. And it's good. But I mean, that's just a good example, even though I'm always kind of mostly known for playing TNT, But like, what were you going to say? I didn't mean to cut you off though.
No, you didn't cut me off. You're right. Like, stuff like that is good. I think the most recent list I started to look at, I haven't built it yet, but I was looking at Exodus for a long time, and then Exodus got really popular all of a sudden, and sometimes that kind of pushes me away when there's like too many people jumping on the idea. They've already got like the Discord server set up for it and stuff. I'm like,
that's because you're a little bit of a hipster sometimes.
A little bit sometimes, but that's fun to me. It is fun from my perspective, it is fun to take out a list that maybe people haven't seen in a long time, or maybe haven't seen at all, and then optimizing it to the best that it can be. That's the fun that I get out of cEDH. I mean, play stuff like Tashar and Crow stuff. They're lesser played lists.
I've been known to take old cEDH commanders, like old lists, and update them, and then try to convince the community which is entrenched in them to maybe transition a little to more modern times. Like, come in with a fresh approach not say that like what I have is like definitive and is going to be the exact thing, but like right now the Morrowind Discord, a lot of the Morrowind players have kind of started picking up my version of Morrowind that's a little more elf bally and a little less Brostorm, because I personally think that the kind of the elf ball strategy fits a little better, because you don't have the built-in card draw with Morrowind that you do with Selvala.
Mm-hmm.
And so I streamlined the list a lot and kind of made it a lot faster. And the main thing that attracted me to Morrowind, besides playing it in the MLC, was the fact that the one green color pip is pretty enticing. It makes it like you have a higher percentage of getting her active on turn 2 more consistently. So
yeah, sometimes even turn 1 nowadays.
Yep.
But
yeah. Anything else you want to add to that, or I don't know?
I think just like an example, like you brought up Morrowind, we recently had somebody on cEDH ask about Rashmi, not 4-color Rashmi.
Rashmi.
Crafter. And so I was looking at Rashmi, the Eternity's Crafter, and I don't want to accuse the list of being outdated, but I feel like there were a lot of different directions you could take on Rashmi other than the ones that are seen on the database. So we actually sat down with this user and we kind of worked through a more maybe combo focused Rashmi deck that could sit back and do the control play if it really wanted to, and just generate that value from turn to turn, and then end on a Hermit Druid pile, which isn't something you typically see.
No, it is not,
if at all. But it was a lot of fun to work on, and I feel like it is a very optimized version of that build, and the user loves it because it's not just a Drago deck. It's a Drago deck that actually has a direction.
It pivots very well, or kind of has like that very lean, like explosive turn, basically. Yeah. Well, and exactly, and I mean, and that's exactly kind of the thing is, like, you do want to play optimally, but you also need to play things you enjoy. Like, no matter how, like, if you hate playing blue, no matter what you do, playing decks with blue in them is probably not gonna be enjoyable. So pick decks that are good that just don't have blue. Like,
yeah.
You know? I mean,
if you do not like people looking to you to answer the table, don't play blue.
Right, exactly. Just jam your barbarian over and over again.
I made the mistake of actually winning a counter war against a Thoracle player. I actually think it was a Tim Necrom list. They were just going for the typical Thoracle win, and I was on Croxa. And my response to Thoracle was a Withering Boon, followed by them attempting to counterspell and me having Red Elemental Blast. So the rest of the table was out, and so single-handedly had to win a counter war in order to keep the game going.
Right.
And reputation. And ever since then, everybody's looking at me like, I will pass priority to the Croxa player, who probably has answers for this. And I'm like, whoa.
That was it.
That was it.
That was it. That's all I got, boys.
I have nothing else to contribute. So yeah.
Well, I mean, at that point, you've already done the Lord's work, right?
Yeah. I've saved this all.
Right. All right. So I think that about kind of wraps that one up, don't you?
I do.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that was good. I was just going to say that was well said.
Yeah. I think you can, so just to reiterate for everybody, I like to especially do this on our first segment, where can people find you again? Just to kind of, any projects you're working on, anything you want to plug?
You can find me on Twitter at @the_Mormonator. Right now, my biggest project that I'm working on is the NTG Marketplace, which is a marketplace Discord server.
Okay. All right.
You can find me anywhere, honestly, but where I'm in charge.
Where you're in charge, right. All right. Well, thanks a lot. And everybody have a good night.